Hello and welcome to Breaking Bad Friday, the show that happens every single Friday. This week we are doing episode 5 of season 3, and oh boy, things are hotting up, mate. Hotting them up, and not just because I'm here. I've also got hot coffee. It's not what I meant. Man, we are into season 3 now. Things are getting a little bit... I don't feel like things have got wild enough, but I have been promised wild times. So, I honestly think without further ado, we get into this and we see what happens. If you enjoy this video, if you enjoy the commentary, please do hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And without further ado, let's go. You are? You thought we were going to go without doing flamingos? Get out. Get out. Come back. Come back. No, come back. Come back. If you don't come back, mate, you're going to miss the flamingos. That's what I'm saying. The best part of this show, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what I was trying to prove. I'll be honest with you with this pose. This isn't safe or decent. I'll be honest with you, right? I'm sinning. I'm committing a sin right here, right now. But, you know, I just thought to myself, Tyler, people watching this video, Breaking Bad, they've got to get their flamingos, man. You got to give it to them. You got to give it... Okay, rephrase.
I am awake.
Oh, old Walt. Okay.
You are not how I remember you from class. I mean, like, not at all.
Oh, we're going to see who bought the camper. I did mention, I don't know if I cut it out last episode, but obviously Hank's onto the camper. So we're going to trace that. Hank's going to trace that, right? And we're going to see what happened here, how they bought it, I think.
Work it, baby. Yo, this is sick, bro.
Oh, no.
I want the expensive shit. Don pairing Don.
Dude, you didn't have enough for the camper. Forget it. Move on. Let's move on. This is old Jesse. It's fine. No.
That was...
Did you see the dick pic? Imagine the RV they could have got. They spent like 6 grand, 5 grand-ish at that strip club. That's insane. For tits, vagina and champagne? Dream a little bigger, do you know what I mean?
Right on.
I read, sorry, pause. This is totally off topic, not relevant at all. I read a story the other day about a guy who discovered a glitch in an ATM machine. And so he could just withdraw as much money as he wanted to. Long story short, he spent like 1.6 million dollars, I can't remember. He spent it all on like, you know, booze, women, and I can't remember what else, something else. And then he got so guilty about it, he turned... Mate, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to be thinking about this for a very long time. It wasn't even me, man, but I think about it and I feel pained. He literally had the cheat code to life, right? Could have done anything he wanted. And then he turned himself in because he felt guilty, went to prison for a year, and then went back to a normal job. Oh, I shouldn't have retold this story. I read this story and I was like, you cannot be afraid to dream a little bit bigger. Like that, the lack of imagination. Man, you could have ruled the world. He could have ruled the world. He had a GTA cheat sheet. Oh, my goodness. And sorry, that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, dude, if you've got that much money and you're going to blow it, do something better. I just wanted to share that and just spread the pain. I can't take it on my own.
Ooh, I love this floor.
Interesting. I totally see this going in a direction that I keep talking about.
This has got to be the most amazing invention.
Of Skyler kind of... This is exactly what Walt could have given her, right? This is exactly what Walt could have given her and would give her if she got on board with everything that he... And the reason that he was doing it all, right? The more the show goes on, the more I feel like the show is kind of trying to compare Ted to Walt and like trying to get the audience to like shove them both together and be like, right, look at them both. How different are they? And I think they are different. I think that what they're doing to get the money that they are earning is... It's weird, isn't it? Because Ted is almost in more of a legitimate position, right? He's, you know, head of a company. It was handed down to him. I think he's in more of a privileged position than Walt, for sure. You know, like I just said, he had it handed down to him. So I think that's probably why he has to almost do less or compromise himself less than Walt has to, because he's kind of already like 3 steps up on the rung. Do you know what I mean? On the ladder. So it is different. And I feel like, yeah, I guess the way that I just compared it means that like it almost goes further, like comparing them in that way almost goes further in justifying what Walt had to do, because he started right at the fucking bottom in the dirt and the grit and the mud, whereas Ted had this, you know, this inheritance, really, this step up above everybody else, and now he's just trying to essentially keep that, but not just keep that, I think make it flourish in a way that perhaps his father before him couldn't have made it flourish by just doing it by the book, right? I find that very interesting, because I feel like, do you know what I mean? That's like a almost another way in to help justify Walt and his decision making and what he had to do. Like I say, he had to do more because he was at a lower level, you know, and he had less when he started it. Anyway, so I just feel like the show is trying to compare them. Like, you know, Skyler's there and she's experiencing all this luxury. I just basically think it's the show throwing another kind of pebble, you know, into the mix that further muddies the water of the morality stuff at play here, I think, which is just interesting.
Let me talk to you.
I owe you nothing.
You do, actually, Walt.
I will be a one-man glass factory. I will rock that RV.
And again, look at him. He's fighting against the urge to like rock the fuck back in there and be like, right, I'm taking over. Yeah. Do you know what, more and more, when I think of where Hank is right now in this season, I feel like he's gonna find him, you know. Or it's gonna come to a head. Yeah, just having a good time. Oh, Hank, you pervert, mate.
Got a pack.
El Paso, they reassigned him.
Hank?
Nice, we get a bit more Hank Marie. Honestly, they're not actually in this show that much, are they? To the point that I have noticed that I do call Marie now because she's just not in the show, mate. If she was in the show more, I'm sure there'd be more Karen. Do you know what I mean? But
Catch bad guys?
oh, see, this is sweet from her.
Breakfast?
Oh,
Steven's going to El Paso? Just wondering how you feel about that.
this is nice. I didn't realise actually until I was seeing this scene that how I'm not fatigued, but I feel like we've had a lot of Walt, Skyler, Jesse for a very long time, which is fine. I've been enjoying that, like, obviously, because I've never seen this room and the inside of their house so much, right? Like you've seen little bits, and we saw like Hank's garage, like last season, I think. But again, like I say, you don't see much of these guys interacting. I swear, there's like maybe 3-4 scenes in the whole series up until this point with these two actually interacting just on their own. And I honestly didn't realise until this scene how, again, fatigued I feel is the wrong word, but I feel like conveys what I'm trying to say. And this is just something new, you know, it's just throwing something new into the mix. But it's also familiar because we know these guys, but we're just seeing more of it. And we're seeing like a different side of Marie as well, you know. And I think that's a result of the fact that we're seeing them in this setting as well, because I feel like the negative aspects to Marie that I've commented on and I've been seeing has been a result of her perhaps being around other people, right? We've very rarely seen her on her own, being just herself, relaxed, you know, in a kind of home environment with Hank, her husband, who, you know, she's very comfortable with. We are different people around different people, right? We're different people when we're at home on our own with the people that we're most intimate with, and we're different around, you know, when we're out and socializing and doing this stuff and this stuff. And also, you know, the very little we'd seen of Marie was, you know, some of her negative traits, right? You know, the kleptomania, I guess, that she has, I'm assuming, which kind of colours your opinion of her as well. Long-winded way of just saying it's just nice to see different sides to that and to break up the show and just show us something different, because we've got, again, it's been very Walt, Skyler, Jesse heavy. Nice to see this stuff.
You know that you can talk to me about things, right?
Awesome. Like that little thing there compared to what I was seeing from her in the first season.
You have to put on someone before you milk them?
Hank.
Jesus, Marie.
I'd like to be included. That's all.
Fair. Nice. Mature.
It would make perfect sense for you to not want to
This
go
is
back.
great. I love this shit. Yes.
I'll tell you what I think it is.
Oh, sassy Walt.
A ploy to get me cooking again?
Yeah, so he's calling him out. Okay, cool. I didn't think this was going to happen so soon. Again, the show does the whole thing of like the thing that I'm kind of predicting. They like immediately do it. Get it out in the open and let's develop that. Good stuff.
How he could possibly produce anything other than a mediocre product.
And he's just going to be...
His product was more or less consistent with the quality
There we
I'd
go.
come to expect.
Told you.
You believe I have some proprietary kind of selfishness, overweening pride, I suppose, that you think overwhelms me.
Stop talking to me. Like, I feel like it's talking to me and I don't like it.
Are you sure you're okay?
Come on, Marie. Talk, mate. You need help here. You're doing all you can do. You're doing your best, but...
It's like something's eating him away from inside. He's just not the same. Facing death, it changes a person. It has to, don't you think? It's a change in Walt.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Because that's now... Okay, so yeah, so pause. That is absolutely... Oh, cool. And I that totally got by me, fair play. But I feel like, yeah, that's absolutely a through line now. Yeah, that little look from Skyler just then was like, huh. I feel like there was a little voice inside of her being like, oh yeah, fuck. Because it's easy to forget, I feel, throughout all of this and everything that's happening, how Walt essentially had to kind of come face to face with death and still is face to face with death, right? That's a very unique perspective, very unique kind of place to be. I feel like Skyler, because of everything happening, I understand why and I don't blame her for it, but I feel like Skyler hasn't really thought about that perspective and like where Walt has been, you know, emotionally, mentally. It's interesting that Marie's pointing that out, and the whole thing of like death, coming up face to face with death changes a person. Maybe that's the first step that Skyler needs to take to feel a little bit of kind of sympathy for Walt, despite everything. It's nice getting that contrast and the comparison actually now between Hank and Walt, and the fact that Marie and Skyler are coming here and talking about that. I want to see that conversation a bit more. I completely missed that comparison between Hank and Walt.
Your new lab.
Oh, okay. Cool. Good. Safer. Though it puts him under Gus's thumb. This is good, but it's bad. Also, because we've seen that turmoil in Walt, and Gus has seen it and he knows it, and he's just playing him. He's playing Walt like a fiddle. Yeah, I feel like Gus is like, I just need to push him over. And we're hearing some like eerie music here. This music's so interesting because it's kind of like almost brings to mind like these tendrils, which bring to mind Gus, the way that he's weaving his plans around Walt and everything else, and how we've seen that he's this kind of kingpin, this head of this organization, this person with power. And this music, this eerie music, it just makes me feel that manipulation, and Gus is absolutely just pushing Walt over the edge and tempting him. I wonder if Walt's going to become so valuable that Gus changes his mind.
You would choose your own hours, of course. Come and go as you please.
Reasonable. No, if anything, this puts Walt in a precarious position, I feel. I mean, we've seen Jesse can make a similar product, and also because Walt is essentially under Gus's roof, they could probably end up replacing him, you know. They're going to be able to work out how to... now we're seeing Walt, this turmoil again.
Ari.
Yeah.
The answer is still no.
Why? What have you got to... He's still fighting for Skyler, fine, whatever.
Why did you make these decisions?
Nice, yeah, let's dig into it, mate.
For the good of my family.
What family?
They weren't bad decisions.
Ooh, I'm moralizing, okay.
What does a man do, Walter?
Masturbate, mostly.
When you have children, you always have family. They will always be your priority, your responsibility. A man provides, even when he's not appreciated.
I feel like that's what Walt needed. He's been working on his own morality. And I feel like the reason that he's got to the place it is, and he's so steadfast against going back into it, is because Skyler's found out. Because that's what you do, right? If you do something that you kind of feel like is wrong, you kind of just push it aside, right? You just ignore it. You kind of like, you kind of vaguely moralize it in your head, and then you're like, it's fine, I just do it, because you remember the reasons that you do it, and you're like, it's fine, it's worth it. No one's judging me for it. No one's like saying you shouldn't do it, blah, 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 blah. When Skyler found out, it changed, right? He was held up, you know, in the light, and he was judged for it, which was something that he had been kind of putting aside, ignoring in his own mind, and he couldn't ignore it anymore when Skyler found out, because she was holding him to account. And I think that's probably why he changed so quickly and put himself into this place where he was like, I'm not going back into the business, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm out. And now we've got Gus being like, right, and how about this? It just needed, I feel like, that extra layer of moral kind of manipulation. You know, it needed that third layer to replace this very raw, very exposed place that Skyler had put him into. And Gus was like, yeah, and regardless of that, you did it for the right reasons, you're doing it for a good reason, and regardless of what you're being made to feel right now, because you're being judged for it and it's been talked about and you are seen, you still need to do it for this reason and this reason, and the reasons that you did it and started to do it were good, and they're still good. So it's interesting, right? We're getting like layers of morality. By the way, I don't agree with what Gus was saying. I think his ideal of what a man is bullshit, but hey, it is what it is, you know. Like, I'm not saying I agree with it, I just, you know, I appreciate what he's doing.
Any chance we could grab a quick bite?
I really gotta head home.
And now she's thinking about what Marie said, and Hank, and the position that Walt was in. There we go, right. And she's, again, we're seeing that image of her feet on this, you know, heated floor. Right. And I think, pause, interesting, cool stuff, because, that, I feel like that is directly comparing exactly what I was talking about, right? And that comparison between Ted and Walt. And now she's feeling guilty. She's like, right, I'm in this position, I'm enjoying all this stuff. Marie has reminded her perhaps something that she had forgotten, was that Walt is in this very unhealthy place where perhaps he needed help, right, to deal with all this stuff. And perhaps that was the reason that he did all this stuff. And all this stuff, right, And it's interesting that now maybe she's making the comparison in her head of Walt to Ted. Yeah, you see her looking at him. She's nice. Again, I keep mentioning, like, maybe at some point as Skyler gets to process stuff, she'll start thinking about the stuff that she's kind of maybe overlooked, right?
You want to take her?
Bless, here we go. That's nice. Oh, the place that the show's putting these characters, you feel so bad and feel so sorry and you feel so warm towards all of them because they're all going through shit. That was so nicely done. Just a little look by Walt as he looked at her and he was like, no, I can't go because Skyler wouldn't like it. And then the way that Skyler's got to this place where she's like, no, I'm feeling a little bit softer towards Walt because of all this stuff and the thing that Marie said and the comparison, you know, and all this stuff. And this is nice. It goes back to what I've been saying. I do feel like, you know, on paper, Walt is in this position where he is also going through the ringer. This is nice. This is so nice. Oh, I feel a little emotional, actually. That's really lovely. I feel like Walt deserves that empathy. There was so much stuff in the way of him getting that, I feel, you know. I kept saying how I felt like perhaps down the line we would get Skyler understanding Walt's position a bit more, and I think we're starting to see that, which is really, really nice. If only for me, for fuck, like I'm going, like I just keep seeing people suffer, man. I need some good stuff. I need some good stuff. That's all I'm saying. All right, just give me stuff. Just give me nice things.
Hey, here.
Oh, he kept it.
Know your enemy and all.
And that's a nice little gesture from Hank. Bless, you know, despite everything going on in his head right now, what must be going on in his head, and how bitter and like bad he must be feeling.
Well,
to do that is really nice. To find that within himself and to come out and be like, here, man, let's celebrate this, you know. Right, and pause. The underfloor heating thing, that little tiny image, that little detail is just showing her that she can have that stuff with her husband and her family, right? And she can have her cake and eat it. And I think she was just realizing that, you know, the only thing in the way of that was herself.
He's the father of my children.
I'll be honest with you, mate. Don't mean shit. Sorry. Pause. Sorry, let me just explain that little like off-the-cuff comment that I made there. Sorry, if you're like unhappy in a relationship, do not stay in that relationship because for your kids, they won't appreciate you for it. They're, like, if anything, it will give them more pain because you will just argue with the father or the partner or whoever it is, and you will just give everyone more pain. Leave. Whoever it is can still be a parent to your kid as well. Like, that's not any reason to put some kind of like barrier, some arbitrary barrier in between your happiness. If you're not happy, leave. Yeah, we're seeing Skyler really get pushed towards a place. I feel like that is making her consider Walt and what she could have if she just got on board. Shit. Okay, we're seeing Walt stepping up. Good.
This young man is prepared to offer you a sweetheart of a deal for doing precisely nothing.
I think Walt's back in the game, mate. I think Walt signing the divorce contract was him basically getting on board with what Gus said and that he's going to provide for the family despite not getting any love, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think he's kind of in his mind, this switch has clicked. And he's like, right, okay, fine, you want a divorce, get a divorce, absolutely fine. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to support you as best I can, right? And I think so we're seeing a Walt here sitting down, and these guys, I think, have sat down with him to be like, right, we're going to just like make sure you can be out, but just let us do the thing that we want to do, and that's fine. Walt's going to be like, no, I'm back in. I think. But it's interesting as well, because I keep talking about the thing is, I feel like what we were seeing with Gus and him showing Walt the new lab, I think that honestly is kind of, I feel a divide forming, and I felt a divide forming anyway between Jesse and Walt previously. I've kind of drawn attention to the fact that Jesse is kind of slowly becoming arbitrary in this organization because we've got more characters like Gus who can do exactly what Jesse was doing but on a bigger scale and better. This is going to be interesting. I feel like we're going to see that divide, the gap widen. They're going to be like, look, we've got this deal for you, and Walt's going to be like, I don't need you.
He sits around on his fat ass judging people.
Hey.
Yeah, that's really riling Walt up, innit?
Realize that you two had come to a parting of the ways.
Interesting. There's your money. Now I'm going to go over here and make a shit ton more.
Enjoy it. Spend it in good health.
Oh, here we go.
Is the last money you'll ever earn in this business.
No, sorry, that's for jokes.
I'm in.
You're out.
You're out.
What was the offer, if I may ask?
And we're seeing that Gus is very separate from Saul as well.
$3 million for 3 months of my time.
Oh, okay, so he's taking the original deal.
What was our deal before? 17%. Now, that's a shade high. 13.
5.
12. For old time's sake, 12.
5.
Yes, Heisenberg. It's been a while, son.
I'll respect myself. 5.
Shit.
You think this will stop me from cooking?
Interesting. Didn't I say ages ago, mate, ages ago, but I did say it. What if Jesse starts making... Did I say it? I can't remember. It's been a while, I'll be honest with you. Fuck. Like Jesse and Walt becoming rivals. I feel like that's where we're going, you know.
As to why the theft was never reported, I'm not seeing any records of it with the police.
I just didn't get around to it.
May I ask why?
I didn't want him arrested.
Oh, nice that we're seeing Hank back as well.
I'd really like to speak with him.
He's passed away. He was shot.
Oh man, Hanky's onto it, dude. He's so onto it. Yeah, I feel like, pause, there was a lot happening in that little police briefing when his partner was getting celebrated to go to El Paso. Because we're seeing Hank, who we saw kind of previous to when he kind of started down this kind of kamikaze path, right? Where he would go up and he would just do his job and he'd be really gentle, like, which he was just doing to this lady here, you know, as opposed to climbing RVs and, you know, peeping in on people, right? It's nice. So I feel like that's what he needs. He needs this to survive at this point, I feel. He's getting right onto Jesse, man. I feel like the RV is Jesse now as well. That's connected. Like Walt's got his new lab. Jesse's gonna be the one using the RV, right? Yeah, shit. Sorry, there were tits in that, so I don't know if I can actually show it, but Jesse's in the picture. Alright. Nice. I honestly think that was like that was a really good episode, actually, genuinely. Because we're starting to see some of the stuff that I've been I've been talking about, but also some of the stuff that they've been building up. We're seeing it pay off, right? I feel like there was so much stuff that I've talked about in previously that kind of just happened in this episode. We're seeing Skyler come to this place where, you know, she's processing the thing. She's processing everything that's happening, and she's getting to the, like, you know, the stuff under the surface, right? The empathy that I feel like Walt kind of does deserve a little bit, you know, because again, it's this ambiguous. He's done bad things and he's not necessarily a good person, but it's ambiguous. It's grey, you know, there's more to it than that. And I think for a while there was stuff happening that was absolutely distracting Skyler from kind of examining it a little bit more and stopping her from drawing on that stuff and perhaps, you know, falling back on the empathy and the love that she has for Walt, because there was a lot else going on and the shock of finding out and everything, you know. It's the first time I think we're starting to see her think about that, which is really interesting. And the result of that is that she's starting to soften a little bit towards Walt. Inherent in that revelation was Marie comparing Hank, which is so interesting, and I didn't see that comparison, but there's absolutely comparison there, that they have both had this brush with death. Yeah, for Skyler to see that is really interesting, to start to see Walt through this lens of empathy, I think, which is where I wanted to see her go, and where we're getting that, which is really nice. And that, like, really nice heartwarming moment where there was that look where Walt looked at Penny and he started to show that maturity, that restraint, and respecting Skyler's wishes by not going to Penny when she cried, and the pain that caused him as well. And you could see that in the look, right? And then you could see Skyler looking at him and realizing that as well. And also like that acknowledgement of like, no, he's behaving and respecting how I feel finally. And that combined with everything that she'd gone through in her head, you know, with the Marie revelation, the Ted revelation, was like, go to your daughter. And that was a really beautiful moment, really earned moment, I think. And then compounding on that was Walt signing the divorce papers and coming to the realization that he came to through Gus's skew on and take on the morality at play here as well. And so there was so much going on and so many payoffs in this episode emotionally, I feel, which feels extra good because I saw it happening. And then let's not forget, you know, the stuff that I was talking about and the interplay between Jesse and Walt and how that's going. And I feel like we're, you know, right, we've had established in this episode Walt is doing the 3-month thing that Gus laid on the table for him. I don't know, man. I can't see. It'll be interesting to see where we end up after that 3 months. I mean, to be fair, 3 months is a very long time. A lot's gonna fucking happen, I feel. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's gonna be interesting, whether he actually gives it up after that time, or whether that's just once the 3 months ends and Gus gets this 3 months out of him, maybe then he goes to the twins and he's like, right, I've got what I want. go wild. I don't necessarily think Walt is going to be the same person. I think to a certain extent he's been like in a weak state because he's been going through all this stuff, and he's not had this defense in place to deal with this stuff. He's not at the same power level that Gus is at and the cartels are at. And I feel like over the course of these 3 months, we saw in that meeting with Jesse, I kind of saw like a little bit more of that Heisenberg edge, right? That strength and that kind of this impenetrable wall that he put up that kind of says, you know, fucking come up against me, I dare you. We saw that in that meeting, and we saw him take control, take the power. And I feel like if he carries on down that path and is kind of almost groomed by Gus and is in the same spheres as Gus, it's only going to kind of, I feel like, nurture that side of Walt and that Heisenberg aspect of Walt. And I feel like it's going to harden him, toughen him, perhaps to a point that he might become this force that can come up against Gus and not get flattened. So we'll see. With that, thank you for watching. There are some links down below if you'd like to support me. If you have enjoyed this and you're not subscribed, please do consider doing that as well. I've got some full commentaries of Moon Knight, if you're interested in my take on that series, on my Patreon, exclusively over there as well. I am currently on holiday. At the time of this video's release, I will be in Florence, but once I am back, I will be looking to stream as well. I'm just going to be doing some like chill streams, playing some games, doing that stuff where you can join me if you want, hang out if you want. There is a link down below to my Twitch channel, and hopefully I'll have that set up by the time I come back, and I'll update you as well as we go forward with that. So if you want to hang out with me a little bit more, that will be coming. Go follow down there and you will be notified when I stream and stuff like that as well. Other than that, mate, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.